you got to stop using your suffering as your excuse for why it is that you keep yourself in your own bondage. Free yourself and let yourself go. My son Lewis sent me a inbox earlier today, and it said you need to learn how to let some stuff go. And some of you right now, you ain't let that stuff go. You still carrying it along. And when the right person come into your life, you making them pay the punishment for what other people did. Yeah, in their phone, they told you it was Paul, but it was really Paula for that name in the phone. Y'all don't worry about it. There is a light in this world, and a healing spirit is more powerful than any darkness that you will ever encounter. So it is pitiful when a person who is afraid to not ever take any risk. You're going to have to understand, people of God, if you're going to walk with God in this season, you're going to have to go through a season of suffering. Oh, you're going to have to go through it. I'm sorry. You're going to have to go through it. Each of us have his own rhythm in suffering. Yes, you do. There are some wounds that can only heal by deepening them and making them worse. Sometimes you got to go and deal with that whole thing. You need to have a whole gully washing. Sometimes you just got to go and say, look here, let me get all this out. Let me just regurgitate all this real quick, because hear me, I have got to go through it so I can stop dealing with it. Don't look forward to the day you stop suffering, because when it comes, guess what? You're not going to be living. But I thank God for my boy, Lil D. He said, I'm living my best life. I ain't going back and forth with y'all. I'm learning in this season, no matter how much you hate, how much you suffer, you will not be able to bring some certain things back. You're not going to be able to do that. God created us to be free. What do you mean? Free to be selfish. He adds a mechanical part to it. The way he penetrates our selfishness that wakes us up in the presence of others in this world. And the mechanism of it, hear me, is called suffering. So you're going to have to understand you're going to suffer for a little bit. Or you're going to have to go through some stuff. See, fire tests gold. Suffering tests brave people. You might want to write that down. All right, let me move on here, because I can go on with this. I'll probably come back on tomorrow and finish some of these. All right, I can't give all these to y'all tonight, because I know y'all getting tired of me. Y'all let me know when y'all get tired. Just type on the screen and say enough. I can't take no more. All right, and I'll stop. Okay, here's my next one. If y'all are with me, so hear me. Season of affliction, 2 Timothy 1:8. Number 2, solitude, 2 Timothy 1:4. 3, season of warfare, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. A season of suffering, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. I don't want y'all to think that I'm just talking and I ain't got no Bible to back it up. Here it is. Write this down. You're going to go through a season of ignorance. Season of ignorance. Yes, you are. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. All right. Write this down. Facts do not cease to exist because a lot of times the facts are ignored. They are. I'm about to really offend somebody. I hope you're ready. Sometimes your confidence is really your sign of ignorance. Because when you start feeling cocky, it's because there's something you don't know. So you act like you know, and you really don't know. The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance. It is the illusion of your own knowledge. I'm going to tell you something that my mother once told me one time when we got into it. She said, Robbie, you are not even entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to your informed opinion. No one is entitled to be ignorant. Y'all ain't listening to me. So without education, we are in a horrible and deadly danger of taking educated people seriously. Y'all gonna kick me out the club tonight. What I'm starting to learn, me and Future talk about it all the time. There are people who are generic. They're generic. Somebody needs to type on the screen, Lord, make me allergic to generic people. That's going to be somebody's Facebook status. When you put it up, say, Chief said it. In other words, watch this here. They're generic, so they make generic posts, they make generic responses, and they expect generic responses that they get. And watch this here. Generic people live inside of a box, and they think people who don't fit inside their boxes are always weird. But let me tell you what. Generic people are actually the weird people. They're like genetically manipulated plants growing inside of somebody's laboratory. that makes them ignorant. What scares me and what's very frightening to me is seeing ignorance in action. I'm watching people just ignorant. Being ignorant is not so much about shame as being unwilling to learn. And people right now in your space, in your life, they're generic. You ain't got to type no name, but if I'm talking right, just start putting running signs up on the screen. They just generic. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence. And it makes them reject knowledge. So watch this here. I'm learning, write this down. Education is a system of imposed ignorance when you're not trying to learn anything. I'm being kicked out the club. I see it. Y'all about to kick me out the club. I see it. Frederick Douglass said something. I think Frederick said, when justice is denied, when poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, there'll be one class that will always make people feel that they are in an organized conspiracy to continuously oppress, rob, and degrade people. That's what Frederick Douglass said. I'll never forget that quote. A learned fool, write this down, a learned fool is more a fool than an ignorant fool. Talk, Robbie Chappelle Peters. Shut up and keep talking, Robbie. Words are things. So you got to be careful even about calling people out of their names. You got to be careful even using racial words to people. Because all that's ignorant. When you got to go to doing all that cussing, you know what it does? It shows me how ignorant that you are, that you don't have a vernacular about yourself. You're going to hear me. You are about to become measured by the power of your words. So people can get it in your post. They get it on your cryptic messages. So don't pretend to be what you are not. Pretend to what you want to be. It is not a pretense. It is actually a journey to self-realization. And right now, I'm speaking to every last one of you that are listening to me right now for you to understand that God is about to call you out of the place of ignorance. See, the more you start walking in the things of God, the better you are getting ready to walk into. And so many people, they give all these cryptic messages. Only a blind person can easily define what light is. When you don't do that, guess what? You bold. Ignorance is always bold. Knowledge hesitates. Talk, Robbie. And the more that you know, the more that you feel, the deeper your ground underneath is starting to become dissolved. So you got to be very careful in that so you will understand what God is trying to say and what God is trying to do in your life. Let me give you 2 more, and I'll do the other 2 tomorrow. Is that fair? Because I got like 14 of them. So if I give you 7, I can give you the other 7 tomorrow. That cool? All right. So number 1, I said season of affliction. You're going to go through the season of solitude. You're going to go through the season of warfare. You're going to go through the season of suffering. You're going to go through the season of ignorance. Here's number 6. I hope you're ready for it. Here it is. You're going to go through a season of carnal desires. My good God from Zion. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22. Peters, you hitting hard tonight, Doc. Blame the Lord. Carnal desires. I'm about to say something. Y'all about to kick me out the club. I'm about to lose people when I say this. There was a season in my life where I could tell you my spirit is healthy. And I can also tell you that there was a season where my flesh was healthy too. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Some people right now need to admit that they're still lustful and carnal. That's the problem. We got a lot of people that preach one thing in the pulpit and do something totally contrary to opposite outside of the pulpit. You can't preach about somebody's lifestyle and you living on the down low. Y'all ain't listening to me. You can't talk about don't let somebody else's issues become your issue, then you'd allow their issue to become the issue. Y'all ain't listening to me. And the problem with a lot of us is that once you are defiled, you will never get your purity back. Y'all ain't listening to me. I can go real deep on y'all, but y'all ain't even ready for me. Y'all ain't even ready for me in that light. That's why y'all need to come to the conference. Tracy, put the conference flyer up so the people can see it, please. I need for them to see the flyer so they understand. I'm going to get raw and uncut up in this bad boy. All right? I'm telling you right now. So hear me very. I wish I could really just say it to y'all just one time. I wish I could just tell y'all really how I feel just one time, but I'm going to get in trouble. Y'all, let me say this to you. Your carnal desire, I'll say this. Sex doesn't satisfy for a lifetime. The more you have it, the more you want it. Somebody ought to say amen right there. And the more you have it, the more you die out. Y'all ain't going to say nothing right there. Because sometimes it's not there. You need somebody to stimulate your mind. And if they cannot stimulate your mind, what they make you feel like with 24 pumps ain't going to help you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry. Because y'all ain't ready. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Y'all, this ain't what you want. This right here ain't what you want right here. This ain't what you want. This is not what you want. So you got to stop being so carnal. And sometimes you got to learn how to say no. Especially when it concerns the things about God. Let me move on. I told y'all this ain't what you want. Okay. Number 7, and I'm out of here. This is the last one for the night. Okay? This is the last one I'm going to give you. Because I can go in right there on that whole thing. Here's the last one. You will go through a season of contention. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 23, verse 24. I'm done. Your opponent's wrong doesn't automatically make you right. Let me say it again. Your opponent's wrong doesn't automatically make you right. If you connected to them, you just as wrong. If y'all want to walk around talking about you team this, if they wrong, you wrong. If they lost, you lost. If you a team, don't go being individualized when you want to blame the other person. You win as a team and you lose as a team. This is one of the biggest spirits of contention that we deal with. And Christianity got over the difficulty of combining furious opposites by keeping them both and keeping them both furious. Y'all ain't listening to me. So here's what happens. Your faults are thick where love is thin. I can stay here with y'all all night. I promise you. I can get through this bad boy, but I know right now I done hit below the belt for some of y'all. We usually learn from debates, but we seldomly learn from debates. Did y'all hear what I just said? Contention in our families drives the Spirit of God away. It also drives many of our family members away. Contention actually ranges from the hostile spoken word to other various conflicts that we have. If you can't keep the main thing, you'll start going into a whole lot of other stuff that you shouldn't go into. And then you start missing the mark. Because contention, with all of the variations of it, is really one of the most destructive forces in your home and also in your society. Let me give you one better. Lying, stealing. These are some of the extensions of basic problems in the home environment. Did y'all hear what I just said? So the fact of your quarreling, your lying, and your stealing are not necessary to the proper growth and development that you're going to have to deal with. Because hear me, you'll become a menace to society. Every expression of love becomes the bone of contention if destiny so desires it. So you got to be mindful of that. Life is a race against time. Are y'all listening to me? Y'all ready for me to stop?